All right, welcome to Doushin Talk. My name is Gadu. Thank you so much for joining us. So, this is the first Heart of Giving Day of a year, and I'm very excited. Heart of Giving Day is, it's part fundraiser, but really a time for me to be able to give and for people to be able to give too. Because the heart of giving is the expression and action of unconditional love, you know. And unconditional love is a love without attachment. And it's essential for your healing journey. Without cultivating unconditional love, it's hard to find your own healing. Especially, nowadays, it's a lot of fear and anxiety in the world. And when that happens, collective energy of the whole world can affect us. Even though those, words and different kind of things may not affect us directly, but that atmosphere and the energy and, collective E and collective key of the world can affect us. And when that happens, we kind of go into sort of a protective mode, And, that sometimes it's necessary. But then you don't want to stay there too long, because when in this protective mode, sometimes you might even think like, oh, I may not have enough, so I need to take from from others, and then your heart closes, and when the heart closes, your ki doesn't flow, it gets stagnant. So that's why opening your heart, opening your kokoro, and just let your unconditional love express outward is very important. And, I learned this heart of giving concept from the Buddhist practice that I studied a while ago. And it's an interesting story, during the time of Buddha, all these monks, they didn't have a job, they didn't get paid. So they go around town to beg for food, But the reason they did was to spread the teaching too. Because when someone gave food, they gave teaching, But then the Buddha said, because once in a while there's a patrons, like a big rich guys actually throwing a party and then serving food for all these monks. But he said, just don't go to those rich people's house, but go to the poor people's house, Because so by just giving whatever they can give, they can experience this joy of giving. When you feel you don't have enough, it's easy for you to think, look, I have nothing to give. But it doesn't matter, just a little piece of, end of a vegetable, if you can give, and someone says like, oh, thank you so much for this gift, let me give you back with teaching. And then in that communication and the interaction, the person who gave actually can experience joy of giving. And this joy of giving is empowerment. When you feel you have nothing to give, you feel powerless. But when you feel like even a little thing I can give, that's empower your heart. And the purpose of giving is actually you give so that the receiver of this gift want to be a giver. It's not about just you give and you feel good about it. It's really about how you give so that the receiver like, oh, I have received this amazing gift. Now I want to give, give back or even give forward, And that's the purpose of giving. Heart of giving is also art of giving. Giving is art. It's not just about just throwing things at some people. And there is a kind of a misconception, I believe, even in the religion and spiritual community, the giving is about like gaining merit. Merit is actually a Buddhist word, like a kind of a spiritual currency or something like that. And used to, they said, to you give or you good deed to gain the merit, you know. And of course, a lot of religious or spiritual organizations that, give money to a church or a temple and support the organization and you get merit, you know. And that's, in some way, it's necessary, right? Because the community has to support for this organization to sustain. But at the same time, if that becomes a standard way of thinking, it's no longer giving anymore. It's almost like obligation, and sometimes it's just about taking. So sometimes, even Master Len talks about like a karma as like a spiritual checkbook, If you have something bad happen, you just do good deed, and then that this spiritual bank account will balance. But then that also is, just a ridiculous idea. Because how can you have a spiritual currency? Because it doesn't exist in a physical realm. I mean, this teaching in the beginning, it can be useful, right? Because people want to give, and that start, help them to start. Like, oh, okay, to gain the karma, to gain the merit, I'll start doing good deed, I'll start giving. But then in the long run, it doesn't help. Even the Buddha said, and also in Hindu's teaching called Bhagavad Gita, in it, one of a Hindu deity called Krishna said, giving is not trade. If you're expecting something in return, whether it's spiritual merit or something material thing, it's not giving, it's a trade. You're expecting trade. And the true giving is about how to give without asking for anything in return. And that's giving. So it's really amazing how in ancient time all these masters actually talks about how giving is. And Buddha said in the Diamond Sutra too, to be a true giver, you have to even let go of the idea that I'm a giver. You have to let go of the whole idea. You just give and forget about it. Even in the time of Buddha, in a Buddhist, Mahayana Buddhist, have a concept called bodhisattva. It's like a saint in a Christian tradition. Those kind of being that learned and practiced and then almost becoming a Buddha, but then not quite. They're called bodhisattvas. But in the Diamond Sutra, Buddha said, if the bodhisattva thinks they are bodhisattva, then they are not bodhisattva. It's just like that, When there is a sense of like, oh, I'm a giver, when you have a pride, and then no longer, you're who you are, who you think you are. And I think in the Bible too, Jesus talked about the pride. How to let go of your pride. So then there's a way that I usually talk about how to give wisely. I think everyone probably have this experience when you gave something to someone, but somehow they are not grateful. Instead, they actually kind of turn into monster. Maybe it's your children, sometimes your relative or friend or whatever. Because when you are not giving wisely, you can actually turn someone's receiver's heart poorer. And when that continues, they become a hungry ghost. They never be satisfied. They're always trying to take from you. And that we really have to be aware of it. When you give something to someone or some organization, always go back to the purpose of giving. By doing this gift, am I making receiver into a giver? Or am I just doing it to satisfy my own need, my own ego, to feel good or to feel like, oh, I'm a good person because I'm giving? you know. Or you might boast some people like, oh, look at, my brother or my cousin or my son. I gave so much to this guy. He had nothing. When someone talk like that, even though they are giving all sorts of a gift, how you feel, it's not going to make you feel good, And so you can actually turn people's heart poorer by just giving without wisdom. And when someone turns into a hungry ghost, sometimes you have to, engage your unconditional say, no, I cannot continue with this anymore. Of course, in some situation, like when there's a disaster happens, and then they just need help, you just send money or whatever you can do. But it's become a long term, and then you can actually create this giver-receiver relationship, Because always there's a giver-receiver relationship is giver and receiver, like this, right? Someone who needs something, also I'm just going to give. So you have to be very aware of that and how you bring yourself down a little bit. You actually give with humility. When you give, you never can give from up. You have to go just a little under, There's a term that I learned called go one skin under, You're not one skin over, but not really even, just a little one skin under. And you give with humility, And when people do that, the receiver is really grateful, but at the same time, they're like, oh my gosh, wow, this person did so much for me without really asking anything in return, and help them to enrich their heart. And you continue to do that. And sometimes they might say, maybe I can give, maybe I can be the giver like that. And that's how you keep the giving going. And when someone gives you something, as a receiver, you might just receive things graciously. But if you don't do anything, you are actually in the receiving end of this relationship. So then you have to think about like, oh, I can be the taker, Then how can I actually not be a taker and just keep going to be a giver? Then you have to keep the chain of giving going. You don't have to just give back, give forward. If you receive something amazing, you just say like, oh, then how can I give this gift, spread it the way I can, And then one of the wisdom is about just give as much as you can comfortably. Don't overgive, don't extend yourself way thin in order to give. Because if you do it too much, beyond your capacity, you start, sometimes that turn into a resentment. Have you had this experience of even though you're giving so much, I'm giving so much, I can't give anymore, but no one's giving me nothing. It's turned into a resentment too. So you only give as much as you can comfortably. So important thing is, how can I sustain this giving? How can I sustain this chain of giving? So I continue to give, even just a little bit at a time. So I can always cultivate unconditional love. So in our world, we need more of this, I've seen all over the place, even in a religious and spiritual community that, the things people are not giving wisely. I even had to talk to, Master Lin and people about the giving wisely. Because it's easy to believe that when you are doing this kind of a work, you are supposed to give or you should give everything, you know. And sometimes there is the expectation from a community too. So you have to set your own boundary, say, this is what I give. This is how I'm going to give. This is how much I'm going to give, you know. I really have to think about it too, myself. You know, when I do Heart of Giving Day, you know, when I, you know, do like a talk like this for free, you know, sometimes I charge money for it too. And sometimes I give for free. Like, is this too much? Is this enough? Is this balanced? You know, am I giving wisely? Is always the question I ask myself. And if the answer is not good, then I say like, no, then I'm not going to give like this. I'm going to charge even a little money, you know, so then the people can experience the joy of giving, you know. I used to, during the pandemic too, like I had this fundraiser type of thing, and I gave a healing session, you know, for like way lower price, and it was full all the time. But people start asking about me about those sessions, like, where is your cheap session? And when I heard that, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not doing it right. This is not wise anymore. They're looking for a cheap session. They actually think this is not worth it, you know. So, oh, okay. So then I have to change the price. Where is the right price for it? And that's always the question, you know. And things can happen, you know. So sometimes I change price for things because of that too, you know. So in this situation, in this world right now, you know, in my situation right now, what is the right most balanced place where I can give and they can give without, you know, too much stress, so we both can benefit from it, you know. It should be win-win. give, you know. It's not about just, you know, we tend to think when you're paying money for something, you feel like I'm giving something, so you should give me something, you know. But instead, like, I'm giving and they're giving, you know. I'm paying for something, but this is my way of giving, you know. And then you're receiving service, but that's their way of giving. If you think like that, the chain of giving can continue. And we can let go of, you know, karma in money and finance, you know, in those karma of business. Let go of that if you can actually start thinking that way too. So this is an important way of being, and continue to cultivate heart of giving. You know, it's essential for your spiritual growth, your healing, and for everything. You know, and start slow. You know, you don't need to be all of a sudden like amazing entrepreneur and then, you know, make this fun amazing organization. If you can, you know, go by all means, but just start slow. Sometimes we even forget to smile at a stranger, you know, because someone said like, oh, if you smile at them, you know, they might try to take advantage of you, you know. I'm always a smiley person, but my friend in India, when we are in India together, she told me that like, stop smiling so much, because they are trying to come and cheat you. So I try to learn to like not smile too much when I'm walking on the street. You know, but seriously, why? You know, we can actually be generous in our heart, and just from a little place, we can continue to give. And when we really can create this chain of giving, the society with chain of giving, I think that's when we can make this world, you know, much better place. So I'm going to guide you in a meditation now, you know. And we just meditate on this chain of giving, you know. You go into your own heart, let go of attachment. Get in touch with your unconditional love and heart of giving. And when you give, feel how this chain of giving going. All right? So find a comfortable position. And close your eyes. Put a gentle smile on your face and relax your whole body. Tuck your chin slightly in, tip of your tongue gently touching the roof of your mouth. And you're breathing in and out through your nose. Be aware of your lifeline running from top of your head down to the bottom of your torso. And feel you are grounded and centered. Keep your palms up if you can and open your fingers a little and push your elbows out a little bit. Feel su. If your feet are touching the floor, gently grab the floor with your toes or think about you doing that. Then think about raising your thighs and knees. And think about raising your hands and your arms. And feel your ingen. You're both physical and spiritual being. And your awareness is somewhere in between. Feel you are here but not here. And you are observing yourself as if you're outside of your body. And in this fuzzy and distant feeling, bring your focus to your lower tendon. See the soft mist of light shining there. And focusing on this light, say in your mind your heart opening password. And feel your connection to everything there is, beyond time and space. And you surrender yourself to this feeling. And with deep respect and gratitude, ask your guide to come and help you. I invite your guide to come march together with you. And see your guide appears in front of you. And you and your guide are marching together as one. And feel you are your guide. As your guide, notice how you feel. Notice how you're holding your body, how you're holding your mind, and how you're holding your spirit. And feel your kokoro is open. And you set your E clearly. Say in your mind your intention, your purpose, and your path. And feel your ears resonating with everything there is, activating ki everywhere. And you are guided and supported in each step you take on your path. And you focus on the energy breathing. As you breathe in, feel the energy coming into your body from every part of your skin, collecting and condensing in your lower tanden. As you breathe out, any energy that doesn't serve you anymore transform into something beautiful, like colorful light, butterflies, or whatever comes to you, shooting out from every aspect of you, going back to wherever it belongs. And with each breath, feel you are getting purified and refined, physically, mentally, and spiritually. As you continue, shift your awareness from your lung breathings to pure energy breathing. At some point, you may feel you don't know whether you're actually breathing air or not, and that's okay. And feel the energy breathing penetrate into your physical body, penetrate into your skin, into your tissues, into your muscles, joint, and connective tissues, into your organs, fluid, and nerves, into your bones and bone marrow, with each breath. Feel your physical body is getting purified and refined. And you are observing your body as if you're outside of it. As you observe your body like that, you let go of your attachment to your body. And feel energy breathing penetrate into your mind, into both conscious mind and subconscious mind. Into your memories, into all the stories, into your beliefs, ideas, and thought, into your emotions, into your egos, and the sense of identity. And into all the hidden information inside, like hidden memories, hidden emotions, hidden stories that you are not usually aware of, but it can affect your conscious mind. And with each breath, feel your mind is getting purified and refined. And you are observing your mind as if you're outside of it. As you observe your mind like that, you let go of your attachment to your mind. And feel energy breathing penetrate into your spirit. Spirit is all the information, all the energy about who you are and what you are, beyond time and space. And with each breath, feel your spirit is getting purified and refined. And you're observing your spirit as if you're outside of it. As you observe your spirit like that, you let go of your attachment to your spirit. And as you let go of all the attachment, feel your kokoro is open. Feel your connection to your soul and connection to everything there is. And you are part of everything, and everything is part of you. Everything is constantly resonating, and everything is sacred. And in this unconditional love, with humility, you're blessing everything. Blessing your home and your family. Blessing your community and your country. And you are blessing the whole world, the whole planet, and every being on this planet. And feel this chain of giving going. Your unconditional love and blessing. Cultivate unconditional love in others, and they will send unconditional love and blessing to even more people or even more beings. And it echoes through everywhere. And as a part of this ripples, the spreading of chain of giving, feel everything is blessing you. And you surrender yourself to this feeling of deep resonance. Now this meditation is yours. And this meditation is slowly coming to the end. Gently bring your focus to your heart. See the beautiful soft light shining in your heart. And your kokoro is open. You're resonating with everything there is. Notice how good you feel physically, mentally, and spiritually. And in this light, say thank you to your guide for all the guidance, unconditional love, and blessings. And with deep gratitude, ask your guide to come back and help you again, anytime you need it. And see your guide coming out of you, and with smile going back to wherever your guide came from. And gently bring this light down to your lower tanden. See the soft, hazy light shining there. And the light is spinning, spinning, spinning as an energy ball. It's spinning faster and faster, getting smaller and smaller. See, the light is getting condensed into a 10. And you tuck it deep in your lower tanden. And with joy, take 3 gentle deep breaths. And slowly open your eyes and rub your hands together. Activate your hands and fingers. And massage your face. And cup top of your head. Cup base of your head. And massage your C7. And massage your temples. Make circular motion with your fingers or your fist, but don't press too hard. And massage your ears. All right. How you feel? So, practicing heart of giving is not hard at all, but it's a constant practice. So when you say you're attending like something free, or if you're looking for a deal, or you're just giving something or receiving something, you always ask, am I doing this with a heart of giving or heart of taker? There is a time, when you are looking for a deal. Same thing in different price, and you're just looking for the best price. And that's human nature. Nothing wrong with that. But we can actually waste a lot of time doing that too. So then we can become penny wise, pound foolish, right? But when you actually approach it with my heart of giving, what is the right thing? You know, with the heart of giving, what can I do? You know, whatever I received this for free, now what can I do? How can I express my heart of giving? How to make this heart of giving into action? And as I say, small things. But when you are aware of it, even though you might take the same decision, you know, where your E is in the heart of giving or E is in the mind of taker, how the key flow will be completely different. Even your choice is the same. That's the beauty of it. Because remember, it's all your E. You know, how your mind works, how your heart express, and that change your life. And change world too. You know. So continue to practice every day. Just make it into a habit. You know. Always come back to, is this my heart of giving is activated right now when I'm doing this? It's all that is. You just need to take a moment and just come back to your heart. Because you know when there's a heart of giving activated or your heart of takers activated. You just know. You can feel it. All right. So as always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you. And thank you so much for joining. And I will see you soon. Goodbye for now.